All right, you know what time it is. Once again, as usual, time's what about that time, not to self time already, motherfucking. If you don't know, well, now you know, bitch, straight into it. Let's do this shit. Straight into it. Let go. Now, this video that I'm gonna be making is about a video from it's gonna be a video about the beef that two YouTubers have. The beef between Marshall Mathers IV and Pebrick. Now, what do I think about these two and their beef? Okay, so first, let's talk about Marshall Mathers IV. Marshall Mathers IV was the incel that I was talking about in my video when I was saying that, okay, he was saying that if you're a guy who believes in self-improvement and you were a former incel and you become somebody who starts to get women after you self-improved yourself, then you were never an incel and you were a traitor and a phony and all this other shit, right? He's basically a black-pilled incel who is a virgin. He's 25 years old and he makes videos complaining about how women don't like him, women don't want him. I am scared of talking to pretty attractive women. And basically he would just make videos making excuses about himself and why he is a continuous failure the way he is. The way, like, I've watched a couple of his videos, and to be honest, I'll say some positive things about Marshall Mathers. He's fairly relatable in terms of people who, he has some pretty relatable content in terms of like people who are down and out, people who have negative thoughts, and who he's not the confident person, but he's somebody who I guess he's had what is called a pretty hard life, and he can relate to people who have zero motivation, zero confidence, which to be honest is the majority of a lot of men, and to be honest, man, the state of modern men, men's confidence has decreased. We're always being demonized with this toxic masculinity shit, and it's making men feel like they are worthless. And so he makes his videos talking about how much of a loser and how much of an incel and how much he's never going to get women and all this shit. This negative content is relatable to so many other people who feel the exact same way and who feel like they haven't found a place in society. They haven't found a place of where they belong. So they look on to someone like him who can relate to the struggle. But to be honest, my thing is, there's nobody who understands and relates to Marshall Mathers IV more than I do. I'm somebody who used to have trouble talking to girls. I was afraid of speaking to women and all this other shit. And it was just, in my teens, early 20s and shit like that, I wasn't really the most coolest, most popular guy, whatever. But to be honest, with a little bit of self-improvement and me starting to have more confidence in myself, I got out of that shit. So, and I started talking to girls and shit like that. And to be honest, I want to get more in depth in his videos because, to be honest, a lot of the things, like, okay, let's just say, he reminds me a lot of my younger self. Back when I was young, the way that I used to speak, he reminds me a lot of myself. And so, like, whenever he's talking about all these negative things, I see who I used to be in him. So it's just, but there's just some things about his video that I watch that piss me off, because I'm just like, dude, like, why do you like being a loser? Like, even when the times where I was down on myself and shit, like, I always wanted to try to find solutions to get out of the situation I was in. I never wanted to remain in that situation. Him, on the other hand, it's like he comes up with every excuse not to succeed. He comes up with every excuse to remain on the bottom where he is, because I feel like he's afraid of improvement and making himself a better person, because if he changes himself for the better, he's gonna start to realize that maybe he was wrong about certain things that he was thinking about in his philosophy, and it's gonna make him hate the person he used to be. If I can't be a champion in real life, then I might as well be the champion of the incels. I might as well be the king of the losers, And that I feel like that's his mindset. It's easier to sit down and blame other people for your problems that you have in life and not take any responsibility for your own life. And even if you weren't responsible for the situation that you put yourself in, you still have to strive to become better and at least make yourself a better person, despite all of the negative things that has happened to you. Oh yeah, but anyways, I don't want to get too much in depth. I just wanted to talk about the beef between Pebrick and Marshall Mathers IV. Now, see, Pebrick, on the other hand, he's just a dude who is basically trolling Marshall Mathers IV, making fun of him. He makes videos imitating him, mocking him, making fun of him, trolling him. And I've watched some of Pebrick's videos, and I ain't gonna lie, some of his videos are kind of funny. And like, he will be making videos pouring flour on his face and trying to like imitate how Marshall Mathers is. And to be honest, he has some pretty good impersonations. I'm not gonna lie, he's funny. He's funny, you know. He would just joke around making videos about him. But the thing is, you know, I feel like in hindsight, Pebrick, he's just a person who jokes around. He's a bit of an asshole. He jokes around. He just likes, you know, just playing with people, you know? He's cynical. He's somebody who just likes, you know, who he's doing it in jest. I don't think he's somebody who actually means Marshall Mathers IV any harm. He's just trolling him, just making fun of him, doing impersonations and shit. I don't think, you know, I think Marshall Mathers IV, he's taking a lot of the things that Pebrick does way too seriously. He doesn't have a sense of humor. Like, he takes himself too seriously. That's the problem. Marshall Mathers IV, he takes himself way too damn seriously. He takes himself too seriously. He doesn't have a sense of humor. He takes himself too seriously. He's too sensitive, you know? And the one thing that I can say that's positive about Marshall Mathers is he knows how to reach people who feel the same way that he does. But still, you got to understand that if you're going to reach that amount of people, you have to actually help them out of the situation that they, like, you have a responsibility as someone with a large platform to at least help these people out of the situation, you know, to be like, to try to look at things more positively, you know? You owe it to your fans to see you in more of a positive light. He said he never likes making videos smiling or being happy. The thing is, if you have a large platform of people who are depressed and angry and miserable, and they're following your lead, man, they feel like life is pointless just like you. I mean, my thing is, how many friends are you gonna have on this YouTube shit when at the end of the day, a lot of them have these suicidal feelings, a lot of them are depressed, a lot of them hate themselves? I mean, you have a responsibility to at least try to help them out of that situation, man, because you have young people, teenagers, people who are like 12 and shit, they are following you, they're feeling the same way that you do, and to be honest, you don't even want to be in that type of situation. You just, I just don't know, man. But pretty much other than that, Pebrick, he sort of makes fun of him, gives him a hard time, trolls him. It's funny a little bit, but at the same time, I'm just like, well, you know, sometimes he can take things a little bit too far, you know. But what else about Pebrick? I think like, I've watched a couple of Pebrick's videos. He says that, you know, in hindsight, really, he's just trying to give him tough love, you know? Like, you need to have thicker skin. I'm trying to give you some tough love. You got to get out of the situation that you're in and stop complaining about where you're at in life. And to be honest, that's the part where in Pebrick, where I actually can agree with him, because it's like, okay, yeah, sure, you're fucking with him, you're being a cynic, you're being an asshole, but at the end of the day, you're doing it in good faith because there's a lot of people who actually want to help Marshall Mathers IV out of the situation. Maybe he's not doing it in the right way, but he's doing it in good faith to be like, man, you need to change your life. Nobody's going to change or get you out of the situation. Nobody's going to get you out of your situation but you. Nobody's going to help you out of this shit but you, man. Do you understand? Like, he's trying to help him out of the situation. He's trying to make it to where it's like, man, all this stuff that you're complaining about, you can change right away. And whether or not, and see, Marshall Mathers, he's always using the excuse of, well, I never asked for your advice. Whether or not you asked for the advice or not, the one thing that you should be asking yourself is for a better life. If all you keep on doing is complaining about things that are bitterly unfair, you have no right to complain about things in your life that are unfair if you're just going to sit there and not do anything to change it. You have no right to talk about things that are unfair when you're not going to change. You're not going to do anything to change for the better. That's not what a man does. Men don't sit over here and just complain about things that are unfair and then do nothing to change it. You're gonna make a video ranting about some shit, then wake up the next morning and then do the same thing all over again. Like, come on. Are you actually gonna change anything? Or do you just wanna make these videos to feel better about yourself? See, Marshall Mathers IV is looking for people who can relate to him. I relate to Marshall Mathers IV, but at the same time, just because I can relate to you, that doesn't mean that I want you to continue to be on the bottom like how you are. Nobody understands what being an underdog is more than me, you know? The thing is, just because I can relate to your struggle and what you go through, because I used to go through that shit, at the end of the day, you gotta look inward and be introspective. You know, what is it about yourself that you want to change? What is the solution, man? My thing is, at a point, there comes a time in every man's life where he gets tired of complaining about shit and he does something about it, man. And the problem is, he thinks everybody's attacking him, you know? But to be honest, people are just trying to help you. And I know Pebrick makes fun of him, talking about, oh, well, you need to go pay for pussy, you need to go pay for an escort and get some pussy or whatnot. But my thing is, before he even deals with that, you gotta have some fucking confidence in yourself, man. Focus on yourself. Like, is there anything that you're good at? Like, what is it that you take pride in? What is it that you're good at? Being on your purpose is the most important thing. That's red pill philosophy. Being on your purpose is the most important thing that you should do, man. Before even talking to any women, you gotta see the value that lies within yourself, man. Focus on yourself. What are you good at, man? What do you like doing? He said he wants to be a famous Hollywood actor or whatever. What are certain things that you're gonna do to make these things happen? You know, you can't just say that you want to do something but then not put in any work into doing it. That's lazy, and that's not the conservative way. I mean, he claims to be a conservative. Marshall Mathers IV claims to be a conservative, but everything that I see him doing is complaining, whining, bitching, you know? And I don't mean this in an insulting way, but I'm saying that that's just what I see you doing, you know? But like I said, man, Pebrick, maybe he's not doing doing things the right way in terms of giving Marshall Mathers the best advice, but I believe that he really does want good for him, man. He just keeps on playing psychological games with Marshall Mathers IV, and Marshall Mathers IV just keeps on falling for it every time, you know? And to be honest, me myself, I want the best for Marshall Mathers. I want him to improve and become a better version of himself. But because, you know, there's people who follow him. There are people who are incels like him. If he can change his life for the better, then they're gonna look at him being an incel from being somebody who is a success now, who is somebody who is successful with women. If he can improve on himself to where he's an incel, he started off as an incel, now he's successful with women. This is gonna be a glimmer of hope for people who are black-pilled. That's somebody that they could be able to not only relate to, but it's somebody that they could actually respect, to be like, there is a way out of this shit, man. See, the thing is, you want people to relate to you, and you want people to relate to you, but you're not offering any solutions or any way out of the situation that you're in. You're not offering a way out for these people. This is just a pity party, which basically, it raises the question for me. Do you actually want people who you can relate to, who relate to you? Or do you just want an audience of people to feel sorry for you? You want to bring people to your damn channel to feel sorry for you. I mean, I don't know, man. But my thing is, you can't come at me like I'm one of these like normies or whatever the fuck, because to be honest, I know what loneliness feels like. I know how it is to not get any attention from women and all this shit. Like, I've been through that shit before. So I'm not coming from a place of like, Pebrick, I'm just like making fun of you and being condescending. This is coming from somebody who has been through the same shit. Matter of fact, I could even argue I've been through worse experiences than Marshall Mathers IV. You know, he didn't even talk to women. You've never even spoken to a woman before ever in your life that you found attractive. And what I mean by that is you've never told the girl how you felt. You never asked her out on a date, none of that. You were too scared. So I know how that feels like. You don't. Yeah, but anyways, what I'm saying is, you know who Marshall Mathers IV, you know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of the Water Boy. He's been sheltered his entire life, never seen the world, never traveled, never none of that shit. He just stays in the same place he is, limits himself to a small section of the city of where he's from. He's never known anything besides what he's seen on the internet and his little city that he's from. He's never seen shit outside of the world. He's never traveled. He needs to get out of his parents' house or whatever. Like, he needs to fucking, save up. He has a job. He needs to save up his money, get an apartment of his own, or just do shit to start his life. He needs to have other influences besides his mom and dad. Because if your mom and dad is your only influence, you never grow as a person. You have no character development as a human being. You just stay where you are. Your parents are religious and so are you. You don't even know why you're religious. You don't even know why you have these views that you have. Well, my parents have these views, so I have them. You don't ever question anything about your life, about the circumstances of the situation that you're in. See, he's trying to become his own person. That's why he's making these videos, to sort of reach out. But to be honest, the only way he's gonna find himself is by getting out of that sheltered life that he's been living for 26 years of his life. Well, yeah. But like I said, man, I don't even think that Pebrick is his enemy. You look at Pebrick as an enemy. I mean, he may be an asshole, and he may be somebody who makes fun of you and fucks with you and shit. But to be honest, I don't even think Pebrick is his enemy. I think his only true enemy is himself. That's his true enemy. He's his own enemy. He can't get out of his own way for shit. He has all these wants and desires, and the only person who can achieve it is him. But he gets too much in his own way with his low confidence and self-esteem. That's your true enemy. Not Pebrick, not these people on the internet who troll you, but you. You are your own worst enemy. To be honest, Pebrick, as much as an asshole as he might be, he's actually trying to fucking help you. But you're too angry to see that shit, man. Well, that's pretty much all I have to say for now. But until then, I'm out. You already know what it is, man. It's the underdog. I have spoken, and I approve this message. And if there needs to be a part 2, I will. I'll make that soon enough. But right now, there's some other things I have to do. That's pretty much all I have to say. But until then, I'm out. Peace. And I approve this message. Deuces.